Ben & Jerry's Change is Brewing. So this is another, I'm just gonna call it like a movement type flavor. You actually have a magazine now, Ben & Jerry's does. Silence is not an option. You know, it covers everything from Black Lives Matter, their racism, you know, racial justice, there's healthcare, housing, surveillance. I mean, there's a lot in here. Voting rights. I mean, it goes on and on. Who we are, legacy of injustice. I'm just flipping through. So it covers a lot. There's actually 40 pages in this thing, 38 to be exact. So we'll get to that eventually. I'm going to try not to ramble here. So a change is brewing across the nation. This flavor is actually created to help transform the nation's approach to public safety to one that prioritizes community needs. It's part of a Ben & Jerry's ongoing work to advance racial justice. So excuse me, it's getting late here on the East Coast. They're joining more than 70 other organizations in supporting the People's Response Act. Anyways, movement for Black Lives, I'm reading big words here. So I don't want to get into all this. It'll be a long video. I'm just here to let you know about the ice cream, but I'm here to also let you know what they stand for and what's going on in terms of the background of this flavor. So they've made this ice cream, cold brew coffee ice cream with marshmallow swirls and fudge brownies. And they've used the coffee from this BLK in bold. It's the first Black-owned, nationally distributed coffee company that gives 5% of its processed profits to initiatives that support youth in need. So, y'all, this is new guy here. Say hey to Fitz. Say hey, Fitz. Can't be up here though. Go play. And of course, the brownies are from Greystone Bakery. So they're starting to, you know, they've been a long time Ben & Jerry's partner. So, cold brew, if you're unaware, is one of my favorite coffees. Can you call it a coffee? Sure. I'm either cold brew or I'm espresso. This one's tempering quickly. Not quickly, I've had it out a very long time. In the fridge, I was on the phone, so kind of got lost track, but great texture. I actually recommend you let all your ice cream temper this much. It's creamy, very dense base. I'm impressed, Ben & Jerry's. I think it's a little better than usual. Am I allowed to say that? So, with this particular flavor, how should I put this? It's a good cold brew flavor. You can even, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you can see it on camera, see the little flecks, the coffee bean specks in there. Good cold brew flavor. You know, it's a little acidic. It's a little acidic. It's rich, it's deep, it's robust. You know, you gotta have a taste for cold brew, and I think they nailed it. Well, not so much nailed it. It's very accurate. I want more of it. I want it to be stronger. It seems like I've been seeing that a lot with the coffee ice creams. However, this is one of the strongest ones I've had lately. It's bold. Just not as bold as I want. I want that punch. Like I taste cold brew, but I don't feel like I'm drinking a cold brew. And that's for good reason. There's a lot of cream, sugar, milk, all that's probably mixed into the base, kind of mellowing it out. Nonetheless, good, could be phenomenal with a much bolder coffee flavor. So Greystone Bakery has been with Ben & Jerry's, I'm gonna say forever, a very, very long time. And of course they're here in this pint. I love the combination of coffee and chocolate, and this fulfills that need. You know, kind of small chunks here, cut into little cubes, but perfect texture. They're gooey, they're soft, they're chewy, they're even moist. I can't say one bad thing about the texture. And there's plenty to go around. Flavor is very rich, fudgy. It brings a chocolate flavor into the game that is, in my opinion, pairs very well with the coffee. Like anytime I have a coffee ice cream, I always crave chocolate. I want chocolate to be with it so bad. It's always my favorite. And this does a good job of bringing everything together. That leaves us with a good old marshmallow swirl. Now, one thing you have to admit, even if you're not a Ben & Jerry's fan, I am a Ben & Jerry's fan, but if you're not, Ben & Jerry's can do a marshmallow swirl. They do a fabulous marshmallow swirl. And this one is just as good, on par as the usual. It brings that ultra sweetness to the ice cream. So mixed with that, you know, you can kind of say it's the sugar or the cream, the sweet cream, to your cold brew. It adds that sweetness. Now, I do think the cold brew base is a little sweeter than I prefer. I wish it was more bold, but this definitely takes up the sweetness of this pint quite a bit. However, with that, because the chocolate is also sweet, the brownies that is, that marshmallow sweetness allows, you know, I think it helps that cold brew base stand out just a little more. It helps you realize that the base isn't as sweet, or compared to the marshmallow, it's not as sweet. So it gives it that, you know, little more of a bold flavor, even though it could still be stronger. I'm a big fan of this one. I think it's easily, actually I know it's easily one of the better limited edition, limited batch flavors that they've released in quite a long time. Obviously you gotta be a coffee fan, right? Cold brew. Cold brew's kind of taken off. I'm glad we're getting more cold brew flavors into the ice cream game, not just your typical coffee or espresso. You know, it has a different flavor profile. It has a unique taste. And thank you guys for the bag of coffee. We'll be making some cold brew with this to see how good it stands out. Caramel, toffee, and creamy. So maybe since they used this, you know, the caramel, maybe that's why the base was a little sweeter. Just realized that. Still a dark roast, so you do get a little bit of that bitterness. I just wanted more punch, more bold, a little more acidity, a little more bitterness in that coffee. But paired with the rich fudge, decadent brownies, adds the chocolate aspect to the pint, which pairs very well with the coffee. And then a thick, gooey marshmallow swirl kind of sweetens it up. I'm sure they were going to offset some of that bitterness, although, you know, I do think the base is it's a little on the sweeter side. So this pint tends to lean sweet more than it does bold and bitter. Nonetheless, very good scoop from Ben & Jerry's. Change is Brewing gets an 8 out of 10.